We're working tools, so we're going to work our strikes. We're also working principles. But with this drill it's a little bit more advanced. We're going to work reaction. So whatever target he gives me is what I hit. And what I want to work out is what's the most economical way I can hit it as quickly as possible. So closest weapon, nearest target. So if he was to approach me from the left side quadrant, the closest weapon in terms of hand tool I've got is this hand, which I would just drive in his face so that I can drill him with this shot. If it was this kind of approach, I've got this kind of stop hitting, and I can drill him with this shot. If he was frontal, I'd just hit him. So I just want to work this perspective from right side, left side, centre target. So if he gives me this target here, represented just slightly off to my left, closest weapon, I'm going to put this palm, this hand, straight into the face. And then I'm just going to hammer it and then elbow it. And if he gives me the other side, I'm going to use this hand straight in the face and I'm going to hammer it and elbow it. Just this first, this is what we're going to get to. From there, give me a frontal target and then put them both together, and I'm just going to just blitz with 3 shots. So I want us to do this first. So first it'll be left, I'm just going to put this hand in the face and hammer and then elbow the head. Then from here, 1, then he gives me his frontal, just 3 palms. Let's get this far. Understand what we're doing? It's just a reaction drill. If he was to show this and I just hit it with a right cross, as long as I hit it, it's good enough. But that's not the most economical thing I could do, because if you look at that kind of situation, maybe I'm doing something, getting served at a bar, and this guy sort of approaches to the right. You know, I could turn, see him and nail him, but the second I turn, he could be already assaultive of me. Whereas if I put this lead hand out, it's protecting me to a degree and it's halting him. So even if I use this palm just to shove him back before I drill him with this side, or I use it efficiently where I put it in his face and then drill him with this side, I want you to get used to using the closest tool that you have. So the closest tool that I have, if he gives me that, is not this, is this. I just want to literally put that in his face, disrupt his vision, and then drill the fucker. That's what I'm looking to do. So the drill's the same. He flashes it, here, strike, hammer, elbow, on the side, arms, hammer, elbow. Gives me a centre target. I can hit it with 3 palms, or I can eye blitz it. Either or. What I want you to do now when you switch it is do it like that in order and then random it. Yes? Yeah. In the street there's 2 ranges that you want to concern yourself with. Martial arts depict, or combat sport depict 2 combatants fighting from, or starting a fight from 3 feet. This is a match fight or sport. In the street, if somebody's stancing up to you with their hands up from 3 feet away, turn and fucking run. What are you doing there? You don't want to get involved in ego and whose dick's bigger than your dick, whatever else, and then start getting involved in this fight, because fights in the street have consequences. So if somebody's 3 feet away, somebody puts up their jukes, fuck off. You know, what are you doing there? Match fight is from your grandfather's generation, when we go outside and have a straightener, and then after the straightener we come back in and have a beer. Those days are gone. If you have a situation in the street, there's a good chance he's carrying a weapon and there's a good chance he's got a mate. Which means the consequences of that violent act could be catastrophic. So what you've got to understand is, how do fights manifest in the street and what is the range? The range that most situations in a confrontational sense happen from less than 2 feet. Human interaction range, where we shake hands when we meet somebody, it happens here. So this is where the fight is. From here it quickly degenerates to in your fucking face, which is the guy that puts his fucking face forward like this and this is where you are. Environment can also dictate range. So in a car park, there's a chance he's staying at arm's length. In a busy nightclub, chances are he's right here in my face because of the proximity of people around. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we have to be able to fight well from here and from here. But from here, from a very close range, what's called ECQ, or extreme close quarters, quite often the ability to hit people is not available because you don't have the distance or the grounding or the torque to immediately hit. So you have to use other means to fuck them up before you can get to hit him. So as an example, when he fed me this central target, it represented just his head and him encroaching upon me aggressively, and now I'm going to hit him. But if he was to present the target real close to me, here, like this kind of in-your-face kind of situation, then hitting him with my hands or stepping back and trying to get a measure isn't the best thing I could do. What would be better than that would be I just clinch me, gouge his head up and smash his head with a fucking elbow. That would be the best thing I could do. So to replicate that, he's going to give me the central target as a very close target. And what I'm going to do is just clinch it like I'm clinching the back of the head, and I'm just going to pull it in. When I pull it in, I'm going to find where would his eyes be with my thumbs and simulate gouging, and I'm going to headbutt and then elbow. That's all I'm going to do. So what I'm throwing in the mix here is the same, is that ECQ. So I can do the same drill. You do this, like a hammer and elbow, you give me that, with a hammer and elbow, you give me distance, or you do this, and out the bag you're throwing this very close range now, right, I work from this close quarter range. So the simulated motion that you're employing is literally from this position, just clinch his head. So here, I'm clinching ballistically. So I ring his bells, lock up. Right, unfortunate. So when I clinch him, I would put in this knee, then I'd gouge headbutt, and then I'd finish him with this shot. We'll leave the knee out. All we're going to do is pull into the clinch, gouge back, headbutt, elbow. Got it? Throw it in. Give me one. I'll just pull in one and work off that, depending on what side he gives me, and that will dictate which side weapon I use. So I want you to figure out for yourself what's the most economic weapon I can employ to get this job done. Yes?
Yeah.
Right. By him having the pads here and then showing you the pad, i.e. flashing the pad, he is feeding your response. He is dictating what you do. Do you agree? If he just holds the pads and let you do what you want, that's a different drill. But if he flashes this target, or flashes this target, or this, he's dictating what I do. Yes? So what that's created in me is perception speed. So if he goes boom, like this, and it takes me 1.5 to 2 seconds to figure out, oh yeah, that's this and then this, then my action time is slow, isn't it? But if I get it to the point where he flashes it and I immediately hit it with the right weapon, using the principle of closest tool to nearest target, then I'm speeding up my reaction. Which means as soon as the target comes into place, I'm just going to automatically hit it. This is a useful attribute. What we're doing in both cases, from this close quarters range and from this extreme close quarters range, is we are proactive. We are taking action first. So we are offensive. Do you agree? I'm not waiting for him to assault me. I'm being preemptive. I'm hitting this fucker first. You can't really be truly preemptive if you've got a criteria to hit someone. Because the whole point of good self-protection is based around awareness, pre-threat recognition, and if I recognise that this guy's hostile and about to give me a problem, the very first thing I'm going to attempt to do is leave. I want to exit. I've got no business getting physical with him in a preemptive sense or otherwise when I could have escaped. You know? So it's not really self-defence if I can fuck off. If I can clearly get away from him and go, then I should. So it's working off the premise that he's depicted aggressive behaviour and he's arrested my movement, which means he's not allowed me to leave. So say I'm just minding my own business and he starts dropping off to me, and then I go to kind of leave for the exit and he immediately moves in front of me and halts my motion to escape. So he's encroaching upon me now. He's stopped my escape route. So he's forced me to be here. Do you understand? That's a criteria for me to defend myself. And I don't have to wait based on this information for the assault itself to take place, because if I wait for confirmation that he's going to fill me in, the confirmation will come in the form of him filling me in. What is that? Too fucking late. But I do need to have a criteria to preempt. He's just dobbing off with me, even though he's arrested my movement. I probably can't justify hitting him yet in the court of law. Maybe I can push him and run, and that's probably what I would do if he was just noise. But if he exhibited some kind of pre-threat cue, such as he shifted weight, or he's aggressive and come forward, or he knocked my hands down, or he looked like he was reaching for something, this pre-threat precursor tells me I need to do something before he finishes what he started. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I hit him preemptively. But even though I'm hitting him preemptively, I'm not really preemptive because this prick started this. I was just walking and he encroached. He's given me a problem and exhibiting this threatening behaviour. So that's something he did first. The only preemption involved is I hit him before he hit me. And that's the best use of force. That's what's going to allow a smaller person or woman to deal with a significantly bigger, stronger male, as long as she hits him with something significant to a significant target. So if a girl that size punched him in the throat preemptively hard enough to disrupt his breathing, she'd get a result, right? If she fired her fingers like a fucking alley cat, went alley cat mental into his face and ripped into his eyes, she'd impair his vision quite effectively. In this case, I'm striking you to shake your brain or hit you hard, but I'm doing it preemptively. And the objective of my strike, or strikes, is to disrupt your consciousness. I want to shut down your computer, so you're no longer a threat, and then I'm going to leave. So this dynamic for use of force is proactive, or preemptive. But let's say that I don't have it my way. Let's say I thought I could really negotiate this, and I hesitated because I was nervous. Let's say that I was in a bit of denial and I didn't really accept the consequences of what was going on, and I missed him shift weight. I missed the pre-threat cue, and I intend to be preemptive, but I'm too late. Well, what's going to happen in that case is he's going to fucking hit me. And if we're working from an unarmed perspective at the moment, which we are, there's a good chance he's going to hit me in the head. He's going to punch me in the head. Once, twice, multiple times, or he's going to grab me and punch me. He's going to hit me. So what we're going to throw into the mix now is, from this feed, he may show me a target, and I'll do my thing and hit it. He may show me a centre target, and I'll do my thing and hit it. He may show me a very close range target, and I'll pull it in, do my thing and hit it. But what he now may also do is beat me in the head. So what he may do from here is just boom for a nice big shot. Which means from this fence it's going to train me to instinctively cover my head. And after I've covered my head, to deal with what he's done to me, I'm going to take him apart. Which means now I am counter-offensive. So previously I was offensive, me. Now I'm counter-offensive. I made a mistake, it's him, now it's me. Notice I'm not using the terminology defensive, which means it's him. Defensive is, he's beating the shit out of me and I'm defending. But if you're defending, you're fucking losing. So I want to be offensive where possible, but it's not always possible. But if my hands are up and I have the criteria, I can preempt this guy, or if he throws a shot at me, I can cover and then hit him back. So I want to train in this spontaneous cover reaction. So we're just going to isolate it first. He has the pads here. He can throw any shot he wants, left or right, in a hook configuration, and he'll do it. Boom, I cover. Straight away from him hitting me, he's going to give me pad feed. Because what I want to do is, if this is where his hand is and I've covered, then in relation to the end of his arm, that's where his head would be. It's in his interest to get the target back and give me a target to hit. Because if he doesn't, I will fucking hit him. Do you understand? So let's say he throws this shot, boom, I'll cover it and then he'll give me this. From here, what I don't want to do is drop my hands and look for the target before I hit it. Because people hit you in a flurry. Which means if he's going to go 1-2 on my head, I cover from 1, drop my hands, boom, 2 knocks me out. So I've got to keep covered, which means I don't have great visual intel because I'm covered up and this is chaotic. And he's just hit me with something hard, even though he's not damaged my head, he still probably shook your brain to a degree. So if I drop my hands and look for the target, I'm going to get hit with the next shot. So instead of that, I'm going to find it with a tactile antenna. So how that would look is if he hit me, boom, I cover, and then I clinch and pull in his head. And then from here I'll do my thing, right? So what he's going to do is going to throw the shot, boom, and I'll cover. Then I'll pull this in, gouge, headbutt, boom, and then elbow. Maybe hits me with the other side, then boom, same thing. Pull it in, gouge, headbutt, elbow. Or I might just cover, then throw a shot, boom, cover, just grab it index, hammer, and elbow. But whatever I do, once I've covered, I'll feel for the target, and then I'll nail the cunt. You understand? Let's try it. Let's isolate that.
I do nothing. You throw
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about
Right, this is not a beginner's drill. You know, so you're doing well, really, to keep up. I said I'll throw you in at the deep end, right? This is a drill for a combatives trainee that has an understanding of certain principles. They understand closest weapon, nearest target. They understand close quarters, extreme close quarters. They understand ballistic strikes and secondary tools. They also understand how to cover. What this is doing is creating spontaneity. Because as soon as you throw it all back into the mix, and you do not do it in a prescribed way, but you do it unpredictable, then the reaction that comes out is workable. Particularly if the person feeding the pad is looking to throw the shot to catch you. He's not throwing it lazy to be telegraphic so you can easily see it coming. He's looking to throw the shot and catch you. which means if you get hit in the head, you still immediately retaliate, because I want to train that into you. The reality of that is, if he hit you first and didn't knock you out, you could still fight. If he hit you first in the head and knocked you the fuck out, it's done. But what the idea of this drill is to teach you how to go from offensive to counter-offensive and back again, in a blink, just based on the pre-threat cues he exhibits from how he feeds the pads. So again, it's a slightly advanced drill. It's an advanced way of training the basics. And all advanced combatives are the basics done well. So he could feed me those shots as he has been, and I do my thing, and inside of that he can throw any shot he wants, I cover, then I find my target, and I drill it. So hit me and he'll throw the wrap the target, now I grab it, hit it, boom, follow up. He can do that left hand, right hand. He could also, if he wants to, throw 2 shots, or even 3. So he could throw his shot here, boom, and throw another shot, so I need to keep this cover up. Even if, as soon as he throws that shot, boom, and he gives me that target, I don't want to drop this in case I get hit by this. So I'm going to keep this cover integrity here, from here till I can index my next target and then hit it. So there's a chance you're going to cover from one and get hit from the other. What does that teach you? It teaches you to stay fucking covered, doesn't it? So it's all a learning curve. There's no failure, there's only feedback. But what I want to do now is bring Simon in and put it into a mix. So he's going to feed all these things. He's going to feed left, right, this range, very close range, and any shot he wants. He can throw the shot in a single or a double combination, and he will deal with the problem. Yes? So let's see how it pans out. So watch him. Good. So you see, if he had dropped his guard on one of those principles, such as dropping his arm, he'd have got hit by the second shot. He kept his hands up, got a little rattle, but could still continue to fight. And it's spontaneous and unpredictable. He doesn't even know how he's going to feed it. It's just as it comes into his head. And his reaction is coming out. That's what I want. That's the level that you want to get to. That's why he's an instructor, right? So, I want you to throw all those things in the mix, but make it random. And depending on the level of the person that you're working with, you might be slightly more telegraphic, or you might not be. But work it so that your spontaneous reaction comes out. And what you're looking for, instead of just as an example, let's say he feeds that shot and there's this time frame, whereas a nanosecond for me to think about it, I want that immediate reaction. As soon as you fucking see it, hit it. As soon as you see something coming, cover, and then hit it on the return. Does that make sense? So you're going to randomise the drill. You're going to do it for 30 seconds and we're going to switch. And we're done. Well, you can see when you randomise it and keep the pace quite fast and up the ante, you get a little bit jumpy. You start to get jumpy and anticipate. Well, you can't anticipate, but you start to get jumpy and you find yourself more or less covering all the time because you don't want to get hit. Well, that's a good thing, but what you want to do is take the drill through enough flight time where you're no longer jumpy, where you immediately recognise what's happening and respond. So when I do it in order, you know, first thing he's showing me is a target and I'm going to hit it. Boom. And I know it's this one, boom, boom, boom. Then I know it's this one, bam, bam, bam. Then I know he's coming close and I have to pull in, do my thing from close quarters. Then I know, boom, I'm covering and then I'm doing this. When you know the order, or when you isolate each one of those, we all perform to the best of our ability. Why? Because to a degree there's compliancy between us both. Even though he's a good feeder and he'll hit me hard if I don't cover, I know exactly when he's going to do it. And of course that's not fucking how it is. How it is you have no intel. You're walking down the street and you won't know who's going to attack you, why they're attacking you, how they're attacking you, how many there are, you know, what the environment's going to be like, what time of day it'll be, who's around to see it. You won't know anything. You just have to simply respond. So what you want to do in your training is throw away compliancy when you understand what you're doing and make it totally spontaneous. And when you do that, there's a good chance that you're going to get hit. And there's a good chance that during the drill, because you know you could get hit at any point, that you will be jumpy. But if you put the flight time in, what you'll see eventually is, doesn't matter as hard as you want, as many times as you want, whenever you want, I'll still reactively cover. Because the key point to this is my hands are up and I'm working on the premise that you're in front of me and you're going to give me a problem. So I have an inclination that you could hit me, so I'm aware of it. I'm not walking down the road, hands in the pockets, whistling, and all of a sudden you shove around the corner and fucking bang me in the head. I'm in front of you, there's a dialogue interaction, you're aggressive, you stop my movement, I know you're going to start. And my aim is to drop you before you do. But I know at any point that you could hit me. That's why this structure is so important. Because action will always beat reaction. If his hands are down and my hands are down in this interaction, and he throws a shot, there's a good chance he'll hit me before my hands come up. Because action beats reaction. But if I have an inclination he's going to do that, and my hands are up, and all I'm thinking about is what I'm going to do to him, well, my hands are already halfway up to framing my head. Now if he throws the shot and I catch any reaction at all, it's quite simple for me to cover. So having your hands higher than his, to a degree, equals the disparity of action over reaction. It will allow me to respond, and now I can do nothing back to him. So have confidence in this structure. Just bite down, drop your chin, keep your hands up and keep visually aware. Then you look soft peripheral focus on his chest. If I see this movement of his shoulder, I know this shot is coming. If I see this motion of his body coming forward, I know he's moving forward. If I see anything coming around in a loop or his shoulder moving backward, I know he's going to hit me. So the idea of this drill is that it maps into me pre-threat cues that he dishes out as and when he wants. And then I respond. And what I'm learning is how to develop my tools left and right, how to use good body mechanics, how to develop impact power, and how to use principles. So it's a really good way of training. Agree?
Yeah.
Right, good. We're done with that.